how are you? Hope you are doing fine. Are you a dairy farmer? Do you aspire to have a dairy farm? Here is a good case study of Mbogori Dairy Farm on how they started their dairy journey. Remember, things don't go wrong, they start wrong. For them, it's a journey full of inspiration, especially on how their vision looks like and how they plan to start that vision. The first animal that landed here in the month of August 2020 didn't just start from nowhere. It started from a planning that started back in 2018. That's when the farmer had his vision well tabled out, what he want to achieve, and the timelines. And the first thing was, what will you feed your dairy cows? And the planning for that started back in 2018, 2 years before the first 10 in-calf heifers landed in this farm. Maize farm was established, well managed, and conserved to cater for at least the next 3 years. Mbogori Dairy Farm is secure. In the next 3 years, they have no struggles at all. The second planning that ever happened is for them engaging dairy networks. That was before they brought the animals in the month of June 2020. At dairy networks, they were able to enjoy 3 of our key services and products. We trained their farm staff. We did a thorough dairy training to the owner, and henceforth we have maintained that training trend. 2, they consult us from our assorted dairy consultancy products we offer. And thirdly, since the first animal were brought here, we have been customizing their dairy minerals requirement to match what is not sufficient. Now, back to the journey of planning. When they planned for fodder, the second planning they did was a cow shed with a vision of expansion. They started with 10 in-calf heifers in the month of August. October, they added 5 more in-calf heifers, a total of 15 cows in the year 2020. But they have multiplied, they have bred those cows now to a herd of 32 cows. All bulls are sold at day 7. That was the first key element that was put in place. The plan for fodder, the plan for structures, and future expansion. As you can see behind me, now the cow shed is full. There was a budget set aside in the year 2022, 2 years later. A herd will be built to accommodate their big vision of 100 dairy cows. The second planning that was put in place, and where most startups make a mistake, or even existing farm, it's on the human resource. It hasn't been a walk in the park. It has been very tough here. Losing employees, until we got a very good team that is working very well. Mbogori, the proprietor of Mbogori Dairy Farm, is a telephone farmer. And being a telephone farmer, a dairy network, we had to customize for them a system that will be a blend of a telephone farmer with a management tips, that the presence of the proprietor is like it's felt on a day-to-day basis. Mbogori farm proprietor manages only to come to this farm at least 2 times in a month. But whenever you look at these cows, the way they look, the body condition score, the trough, the hygiene, and everything, it looks excellently. That is the first thing we had to put in place as dairy networks. The second brilliant thing that happened ever in planning was, where, since we have all items in place, where do we get milk from? because milk is not just gotten from cows. It's the effort put in place to get that milk. And one thing we agreed with the proprietor, at no single time will we have the cow pen shut down. We'll have calves throughout the year. Then back to our planning. There was a plan to diversify, and one method of diversification for this dairy farm is to be a breeder farm. What does it mean being a breeder farm? It means you have to trace we can be able to trace the genetics of these cows very well from the foundation. We are doing a very thorough breeding. Secondly, we have put a system on the number of cows that Mbogori can be able to sell within a stipulated, within a year. That is after the cow sheds are full. Most farmers get it wrong whenever they are expanding their dairy farm minus the plan. This growth has been noisy. It has been messy at some point, because growth can be messy and it can be noisy, whereby you don't have the resources. Remember, it's a calf today taking just milk, a handful of pellets, but in another 1 year, it's a cow that is consuming higher quantity, just like a lactating cow. So that demand keeps on increasing. If you don't plan very well for that growth, if you don't manage that growth very well, you might end up in a very messy situation. So it's a well calculated, and one way we have made sure is there is always calves in the calf pen. There is a strategy on how we'll diversify and start selling the produce or the products of what we are doing in reference to breeding and nutrition. Did you know that a dairy farm has 2 major products? That is the milk and the live animals they sell. The second planning that happened, it's preparation of a working schedule, whereby the employee and the employer, they have to agree. The employer doesn't feel shortchanged and the employee doesn't feel shortchanged. That one we customized based on these farm dynamics. For example, the 3 employees in this dairy farm, they don't go looking for fodder anywhere. The signage is already there, the hay is brought there. Their core business here is just to produce that milk. At Dairy Networks, we value all our clients, especially those who have engaged us for dairy consultancy and dairy training. And the best way we can be able to see that you are delivering to our best to a client, it's to audit the farm processes. See you in the next video when we pay a visit to Mbogori Dairy Farm, an impromptu visit to see their milking session and if they are able to achieve everything within 1 hour mark. See you. Remember to subscribe, remember to like the video and leave a comment. See you next time.